news, of course. How will you respond to state shared revenue cuts?
Well, this is good. This goes into what I was talking about. And I want to expand this not just to the state shared revenue cuts, though, but the other intergovernmental transfers, because the shared revenue component is approximately $3 or $4 million, at least in this past budget. So in a $210 million budget, it is a relatively small portion of that overall budget. In addition to that, we should also look at road. Now, shared revenue specifically is proposed cut at 50%, 50%. Road aids are approximately 10%, maybe a little bit less than that. The big one, and I want to emphasize this again, is what is happening specifically in the Medicaid program as it relates to a number of programs, but specifically family care. Over time, what had been a service that had been by and large funded by a mix of state and federal tax dollars over time has gone more and more on the county level. And it goes back to the point I made in my opening remarks about how we need to do this, not to do this for the current budget, the 2012 budget. We have to do this for the future, for posterity, to make sure that we're maintaining the integrity of this program, specifically how it's being paid. I don't want to see something for 5, 10, 20 years from now, the way that we provide these services. And we're going to continue to have to provide these services because people are going to continue to get old. We're going to have a disabled population, and those needs are going to be there. The county, this is important, the county is the provider of last resort, the provider of last resort. What that means is regardless if we have a mechanism to capture the funding to pay for those services, the county is still on the hook to pay for those services. And that is why you've seen this cost that has gone from state and federal programming to the local county taxpayer burden. What we have to do, we have about a 2.5 to 3 month window where we have to get the message to our legislative delegations, the governor, to recognize, not just put this in the context of the current budget situation and the deficit that we're facing, but also what has been and what needs to continue to be. If we can persuasively argue, this is part of the democratic process. Sometimes you win these arguments, sometimes you do not. It's part of the process. But if we can communicate that and show that once the county does its job and does a good job, not only is the county executive, the county board doing their job and doing it well, but so is the governor and so is the legislature. If you look at the state budget, 70 to 80 cents on the dollar comes back into our local communities. So it is not really necessarily a state budget, but a local budget. So I think what we need to do is we need to join other counties, because we're not the only county focused on this. If there is not leadership coming from other county executives or the county association, this is something that I would certainly look to provide the leadership to get other counties on board. But again, we have a narrow window, approximately 2.5 to 3 minutes. I'm sorry, 2.5 to 3 months. Time is up.
Your timer?
Yeah, we go back. Thank you, Ted.
I guess we have a different opinion as to how the solution is. It presents the problem, but the solution is not fair share. Mr. Nelson talks about fair share being, we go to Madison and hopefully we can twist someone's arm down there and bring back that $2.1 million. Again, in my listening sessions around the county the last few weeks, I presented the problem of the proposed cuts to the county, roughly $4.3 million. That includes shared revenue, transportation aid, of course, sheriff's department, indirect costs to the county, or because of the takeover of income maintenance, a food stamp program to the state of Wisconsin, including youth aid and family care. Under Tom's direction, Jim Doyle, they took over the family care program in the county last year. And maybe the foresight should have been there as to would that have happened if we would retain family care as is, as a county function or as a state function. But we're going to be facing roughly $2 million this coming year for the budget of 2012. So the point is, what do we do with the $2.1 million? We just can't go to Madison and ask for Secretary Heels or waiver of one and ask the governor and the Republicans down there to bring back money they're going to take away from us. They've already taken it away from us. So the problem is, I've been through 6 budgets as a state treasurer of Wisconsin. And it's so difficult to amend the state budget through joint finance. It really is. I mean, I've been there, even under Republican rule, where they've taken things from my office to get it back into the budget, bring it back to in your office is very, very difficult. But the pension credit for the employees, they're taking a hit of $528 on their pension. So we're still looking at $2.1 million here. The solution, folks, we have to look at the solution internally rather than going to Madison and beg for the $2.1 million. We can beg all we want, but I don't think our begging will go unheard. I'm suggesting we do some internal things inside our own county budget. Reducing a small percentage of overtime. Overtime right now in the county is, for example, over $1.5 million we're paying overtime for different services in this county. I think we can restructure overtime just to fund the contracts that are under even review, for example. But I think we are overmanaged in some degrees. We can reduce the size of management in the county. Merging maybe a department or two, such as highways and parks together. There's efficiency that can be realized in our own current budget. And also including, maybe we don't need a lobbyist of $125,000. We're going to rebid the health insurance contract, which could accumulate $1.5 or $1 million alone in savings. I'm willing to reduce my salary and benefits as your elected county executive at $30,000. Time off? Time off. Well, anyway. Pardon me?
Not off, up.
Oh, all right. There's the solution, folks. Thank you.